What's up, everybody? We're live on YouTube. YouTube fam. Shut Up and Scribble episode 23 with JR from Tennessee and Will and Taylor together, the butt buddies. And today we're going to talk quarterfinals programming.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
So keep the political commentary to yourself, or as someone once said, shut up and
Scribble.
It's time!
Okay, so quarterfinals change this year. Top 25%.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Don't we need to give some plugs to our sponsors? Oh, wait. Guys, we need sponsors. Anyone who wants to work with us, let's go. All right.
That was good. I was going to say,
Let's do
what
it.
fucking sponsors?
Let's do it. We need
Let's do it.
We need some people on our footer down there too. All right, continue, Will.
Love it, JR. Businessman. Yeah. So quarterfinals qualify the top 25%. So Taylor and JR have programmed their own quarterfinals, taking that into account with how that changes programming, thinking about all that. Haven't seen each other's workouts yet. So whenever you guys see them, I'm the only one that's seen both of them. And
Will, which one do you like more? You have to say.
I'll tell you after.
Okay.
I can't tell you. Taylor couldn't take that.
Yes, this is the most nervous I've been for a show ever. To start, I think it's important to note that this is my group of workouts that, in my opinion, would be best suited for a 25% quarterfinal, qualifying age groups and individuals to semifinals, while also being safe and somewhat completable for 25% of the population. Like, everyone could at least start the workouts. They're not going to hurt people. And like, I think not more important than anything, like most important is that these take the right people to semifinals, both individuals and masters. Secondary to that, I think it's very important that the programming garners excitement. If you're looking for registrations, you have to put out a set of workouts that people want to register to do. If you just put out these dumbass fucking workouts, nobody's going to want to do them. I think in that same light, me and JR were talking a little bit about, like, I wonder how they program the season. Like, do they start with the games and work back? Do they start with the open and work forward? And I think with this new format specifically, like taking 25% to quarterfinals and then using those workouts to get the right 60 people or the right 40 people to semifinals for individuals and the age groups, to me, I think it would be most logical. Granted, I don't have the years of experience that Dave and Boz have, but I think it would be most logical to start with quarterfinals. That's probably your biggest cut point. You take the largest group of people and you cut it to the smallest at the most important choking point. Start there. So you program quarterfinals. What are the 5 or 6 perfect workouts that are going to take the most important people from quarterfinals to semifinals for both individuals, age groups, while still being able to be completed by 25% of people who register? Then next, I think open, then next, I think semifinals, then next, I think games. Games and semifinals, you have a ton of leeway, a lot of creativity, you have a bigger canvas, right, to be creative and to do cooler things and to do different things, and a smaller field of people. I think the open is next important because, again, you're trying to drive registration. You're trying to garner excitement within the community. So it's really important that the workouts that you put out are fun and look cool. And people are like, damn, can't wait to do this and sign up and see where I stack up. Whereas on the other hand, if you just neglect the open and you put these dumbass workouts in, chances are registration is not going to be as good as it has in years past.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo a lot of the sentiments you just said. I think when Boz went on with Chase and talked about, I think he said this on Spin Show, that the primary goal is to get the right people to semifinals based on the quarterfinals programming. Shortly after that, though, is to drive participation, to create workouts that will challenge the community who wants to continue their competitive season, be it for trying to make semifinals are just to see how far they can get, what placing they can finish, even if they want to talk trash with their friends. He wants them to be workouts that people will see and not decide not to sign up for. So like you said, fun. Yeah. I mean, what does fun mean? You have your definition. I have mine. But at the end of the day, they need to be accessible. Now, when I sit down to write these quarterfinal workouts, it's really easy to make a progression style workout for all 5. Boz could do that. You could do that, but it would get kind of stale to have a workout, that was always going to be wall walks, then strict handstand push-ups, then handstand walks, or was going to be light barbell, moderate barbell, heavy barbell. Like you could do that for all workouts and have them like pay to play style where you have to prove you're fit enough to keep going. That's great. But at the end of the day, does that end up filtering for a specific kind of semifinals athlete? Probably so. So I think it is appropriate for 2 to 3 of those. And I think by necessity, if you want the community to at least be able to do some work on every workout, you need to have that style. But it is hard not to get too caught up into that. I need to make sure everyone can do it. Because what's the primary goal? If we lose,
the primary goal is taking the right people to semifinals.
Sure. So,
but I think you can do that while still allowing all top 25% to at least begin each workout, which we both took into consideration, and we're like very, very focused on making that work. The other thing I think it's important to note, Jeremy commented. Where's his comment? There it is. Was it tough programming these while not knowing the open workouts? It's interesting. Me and JR took completely 2 different paths here. JR programmed these with the open in mind and whatever potential movements or progressions or implements he was assuming were used in the open. I programmed without the open in mind. Like I programmed the way I thought the season should be programmed. Quarterfinals first, then work back to the open, then you program semifinals in the games. JR went assuming, hey, we already know that there's no that's been programmed. This is going to be off of those. We don't know how they do it. We don't know which way out. I don't know if my way is correct or his way. That's just kind of how we both intuitively did it. I think it's also one last thing. This shows courtesy of Kiefer Lammy.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Kiefer Miami. This is his idea. Great show idea. He's a great dude too.
Good dude.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like to Jeremy's question, most people are gonna be able to predict or come up with their own quarterfinal style workouts after the open has transpired next year. At that point, we've seen, okay, there's thrusters in the workout. Probably not going to do thrusters in quarters. Hey, there was a burpee heavy workout here. Okay, probably not going to do a burpee heavy workout here. Oh, they didn't use dumbbells at all in the open. Okay, we can probably assume that dumbbells or kettlebells are going to be used in quarters. So yeah, it's interesting that Taylor was just like, I'm not even thinking about what may have already been programmed. And I started my programming process saying to myself, okay, I'm going to assume that they did toes to bar in the open. I'm going to assume that they did thrusters, and I'm going to assume that they did burpees. And from there, I just like created my own, because as a programmer, you want to put everything in there because you're like, well, wait, how can you do toes to bar and not GHDs? How can you do GHD and not toes to bar? How can you do thrusters and not overhead squat? How can you clean and not snatch? Those are the things that at least go through my head when you're trying to pick movements. Like you love them all, but you can't program all of them. So So I kind of approached it that way. Like, hey, I'm just going to assume that these movements are off limits for me because some of them are going to have been used in the open prior to.
Does having them used in the open, though, make them off limits for quarterfinals? Because we've seen in years past where they've used 2 movements, both in open and quarterfinals.
Yeah,
and I'm just defending myself because I definitely programmed every movement that I wanted in there.
Well, maybe that you wanted. Yeah. I mean, maybe that you wanted, but you didn't. But like, you didn't do 5 quartets. Like, you didn't do 5 workouts with 4 or 5 or 6 different movements just so that you could get every single movement in.
Correct.
Yeah.
But two of the workouts, which we'll see when we get there, are testing 2 different general areas of skill, are both very progressive and test a pretty good range of things. The others are a lot more simplicity.
All right. Cool. All right. Yeah. So lastly, before we actually start talking about the workouts, before we see them, what we want to do is we want to show a workout, read through it. And then what Taylor and I both want to do, and we'll try to help keep each other on track, is we want to maybe give some inspiration, why we chose this combination of movements. Then we want to kind of give an idea of the stimulus or the targeted muscle groups that we want to hit. Then we'll probably get into, hey, if you're a quarterfinals level athlete, you know you're not trying to make semis. How do you approach this workout? If there's a time cap, how do you game that? If there's a
What I
movement
think
you
we
can't
should do?
how do you do that? And then we'll get into the, hey, like the semifinal athletes, you need to be sub 8 on this. Hey, you need to be able to do this unbroken or whatever. We'll get into that.
This is what we should do. I'm making this executive decision now. I'm going to evaluate your workouts off of choking point, how fast they need to be stimulus, and then you're going to do mine. That way we can, I'm already just insanely excited. And if I get something wrong, correct me for sure, and vice versa. But I think that would be pretty cool because we both are opening ourselves up to really evaluating something for the first time live.
Okay. So, all right. So the only thing I'll say is if it's my workout, I take the lead and say what I need to say on it. And then you give that feedback. And then when it's your turn, I'll try to let you go and not say, no, I don't think it's going to be shoulders at all. I think it's going to be blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but we're not that dumb where that's going to happen. But right, go. Okay, let's do it.
Ready? Jay, are you going to read your own workouts out?
Yeah, I'll read
First.
it.
This is crazy, dude. I'm so excited.
All
This is better than an open announcement, dude.
All right. Workout 1.
Oh,
4 time, 120 wall balls, 20 and 14, both to a 10-foot target, 60 dumbbell bench press, 70s and 50s, 30 cleans, 205, 145. This is a choose your own adventure style workout.
wow.
So while I feel very strongly that this style of workout should never be done in an in-person competition where you need to be able to watch a race, no one's racing unless you're racing with a couple of your friends in quarterfinals. You're just doing them at your own gym for 99% of athletes, maybe not even with someone. So I always really, really liked that open workout with the rowing, wall balls, and muscle ups where people got to kind of choose their own adventure. What I think this format really does is it allows for the second goal of quarterfinals more than anything else. Hey, I know I can't clean 205. Okay, cool. Well, how am I going to manage these other 180 reps? I might only be able to get like 30 the bench press. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start out and I'm just going to bench press for 5 minutes and get as many as I can get. When I get tired, I'm going to go over and do a set of 30 wall balls and I'm going to come back to bench. And then at the end, I'm going to try to PR my clean. Okay, cool. A competitor sees this workout and they say, you know what? I'm going to go 10 rounds, 12, 6, 3, and I'm going to try to do it faster than EMOM and I'm going to try to go sub 10. Okay, cool. And then the next person comes in and they're like, I can hit 205, but maybe only a few of them. I know I can get the other 180 reps. So while I'm fresh, I'm going to try to hit a few cleans. Then I'm going to do some wall balls, come back to the cleans. Then I'm going to start whatever strategy. The opportunities are endless. The movements are difficult, but even up through 54 years old, I'm confident they can hit that on a dumbbell bench press.
Start it. Yeah.
They can clean it 1 time or 30 times. And then on the wall balls, I do think you need to have a volume squatting test, even if you only have 5 workouts. So I did Hollyman earlier this week in an interval style. It was
talk, bro.
It was kind of my inspiration for this workout.
I knew it.
And it's just like, yeah, it was just kind of fresh on my mind. I think a 20-minute cap is really, really generous to start off. So yeah, I mean, I just think a choose your own adventure would be really cool in quarterfinals. And from a gamesmanship standpoint, think about how stressful, Taylor, you would be if you were doing this workout, but you were like, what if someone else has a faster strategy? And I don't know.
Yeah. The gamesmanship is crazy.
All right. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, when I was reading this, I was like, wow, this reminds me of Hollyman. It's just WWW. And instead of a handstand push-up, you have a bench press, an upper body press. And I was like, man, when I just did this the other week, my upper body was getting fried. Hollyman, not this workout. And I think beyond obviously you being strong and having general metabolic conditioning, I think it limits upper body pressing for sure with the wall ball bench press combination, a disgusting combination. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you're spot on. So when I wrote this workout and I had like limiters, let's just call them limiters, right? What's going to limit most people? So I have strict upper body pressing as being the limiter. There's still going to be some interference receiving the clean in the front rack on the front delts. There's still going to be some interference, even though they're kind of gimme reps for a lot of people. It's still a lot of flexing the pec, receiving the wall ball. You're still kind of pressing. I mean, it's more of a throw, but in general, this is kind of the hierarchy, right? For the fastest people, it's probably going to come down to the bench press, depending on how you strategize it. Do you knock out a huge set in the beginning? Do you do it in rounds? Whatever. Then after that, it becomes a strength limiting workout. So like maybe for the other 24%, it's either, oh, that bench is going to be heavy, but I can hammer the cleans. Okay, cool. Then, you know, strategize it that way. And for other people, it might be the clean and not the bench press. So that's my first workout.
It's a great workout.
What do you think fastest time on it? You think sub 10 is possible on that? That seems aggressive to me.
Yeah, when I wrote it, I was thinking to myself, like the upper end times would be 10-ish or maybe sub. This is an important caveat. This workout, if I wrote this for quarterfinals, would require 0 floor plan. So if you want to put your barbell right next to the wall and you want to put the bench right beside your barbell, go for it. Make the transitions as tight as you want them to be.
That's disgusting. I think 12.63s, but man, I don't know. The thing about the time is the transition from getting the dumbbells up and setting them down is so different than a regular bench press transition that I don't know if it's worth 10 sets of 6, but man, the bench could just, if you get to a point to where you have to break in a set that you plan on doing unbroken, you're fucked.
Yeah. So, this workout too, like they did dumbbell Linda in semis last year. We've seen bench press come up once in the other total 2 years ago for quarterfinals. Last year, it came up in the quarterfinals for age groups with rope climbs and shuttle runs. I think it's very feasible that whether it's dumbbell or barbell, that we see bench press in a metabolic setting this year for quarterfinals. So, all right, that's good for that one. I know it's going to take a while.
All right, workout 2.
All right, workout 2. So this is the first time we get some sort of progression. So we have 150-foot kettlebell lunge, 50 GHD, 4 regular rope climbs, 150-foot kettlebell lunge, 50 GHD, 4 legless. Now, I think most people with the 15-minute cap, they're going to be able to play all the way into the legless. I don't know of many people where the lunge is going to be a deal breaker. Do I think a lot of people are going to be doing 25 feet and then resting for a while and then picking it back up? Absolutely. But I think the limiter here, and this is what I'm going for, right? I had an upper body strict press limiter on workout 1. I want an upper body strict pull limiter on workout 2.
For the best. For the
best. And when I look at this kind of a workout, I'm looking at that typical, let's say, probably 7 to 9 minute range. Okay. Now, there are going to be people on the back half of this that have to break the GHDs, possibly. Whether they do it strategically because they want to jump up and try to hit legless. A lot of people feel their midline a lot when they do legless rope climbs. Some people don't, and all they feel is upper body fatigue. That's going to be specific on the person, but there's still a lot of hip flexor and midline in here for the majority of the population. It's probably not going to be upper body pulling because they're not going to be able to go that fast. But for people like you, for other competitors, they're going to try to do everything in a broken. Taylor, on that second 150 foot, how hard is that going to be not to put the kettlebells down?
It depends. I think more than anything depends on the standard. And that's, I'm assuming, whatever you want.
I would let them do it. Yeah, kind of like they did the 30-20-10 workout at the games in 2020. I would just let them hold it however they want.
I think what's harder than keeping those 6 trips unbroken is the 50 GHDs unbroken.
On round 2. Yeah, I think that's sneaky for sure.
That would be I guess I would go into the workout with an assumption that I can keep those 150 foot of lunges unbroken. I would just probably be like, you know what I might do? I might do 25 feet stepping through, 25 feet meeting my feet in the middle, and just alternate back and forth for the 6 sets. And then the 50 GHDs, I think more for someone like me who knows they can move legless quickly at the end of a workout. I think the workout is that middle 650, like for sure, but more so the 50, second set of 50 after the 150 lunges. Disgusting.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of questions about, why the decision to have the same number of reps for the ladies. I think this workout lends to that kind of stimulus where it's not going to matter if they have to do 4 and it's a little bit slower, or they have to do 2. It's still going to, like, I need them to do 4 because the volume is not high. There's only 8 rope climbs. I need to see them do a dense set to see that separation. Taylor, you and I both know there are going to be people that can do those 4 in a minute. There are going to be people that do those 4 in a minute and a half. There are going to be people that takes 2 minutes to do those 4. So
The legless,
right?
Yeah,
So there's going to be a lot of separation there, and a lot of people are just going to be looking at the legless in this workout. But a lot of times you don't think about the other stuff that's in there. You're seeing the second set of 50, and I agree. But there are going to be a lot of people that see the workout and just think, oh, so it's just a legless rope climb workout. I don't think so. I think there's going to be more opportunity for separation than you think on the other movements.
GHB, cycle
lunging
speed, and lunge speed.
GHB.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
There was a question about overhead lunges on the second set. Why'd you choose front rack twice?
Oh, that would be just too hard, I think.
Did Kyle Ruth ask that question?
No, Jeremy Eat World.
Yeah. So that was actually something that I did think about. I think Jeremy will see after the other workouts that there didn't need to be anything else overhead.
Yeah.
That was the decision strictly on the amount of overhead pressing movements that I've already done.
Yeah. Seems like it would just dominate the workout too if it was overhead.
I think if you make that overhead, it needs to be like half. It needs to be like 3 trips.
What do you think?
And not 6 trips. 6 trips is a lot.
11 minutes fastest time?
No, I think sub 10 on that.
Really?
Yep.
Workout 3?
Workout 3.
Ooh.
Taylor, look familiar.
Yeah, you sent me this.
Okay, so all right, so there hasn't Boz has done a death by style workout before an online competition. He did it with wall balls. I think there's a certain way that you do a death by style workout in a quarterfinal setting where you're not just punishing people for being so much fitter that they're doing a bunch of extra thrusters or a bunch of extra deadlifts or whatever. So the workout is against the 3-minute clock until failure. 20 box jump overs, step down, 24-inch for everyone, 20 and 15 calories on the row. Every interval you increase by 5 calories. So you'll go 20 and 20, rest at the 3-minute mark, 20 and 25, rest, 20 and 30, rest, 20 and 35, rest, 20 and 40, rest, 20. This is going to allow for not only a leg stamina test, because for a lot of people, it's just going to be like, dude, my legs blew up. For some people, it's going to just be a I couldn't breathe test. Either way, I think it's going to be an 18+ minute time domain for the best people. And there could be some people that go 21 minutes plus.
How far did you get?
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think I'd be
this is
3 minutes.
And I mean, again, the majority of the population can get through 2 intervals. I think, like, no matter what the fitness level is, I think 2 intervals is very doable. It's going to come down to capacity on the rower. It's a weird kind of a workout where the longer you go, the harder you have to be willing to row. You cannot decrease your row pace. You have to be able to increase it as you go.
We both have a death by.
Oh, that's crazy. What I did want to
They're
make sure
so different though.
What I did want to make sure that I had was an ascending rep scheme. I think a lot of times we program rounds for time of the same reps, or we program descending. But I think having this is a really cool way to do a death by, and you're doing more calories on the rower. Fine, like that's what you're doing, and that's not hard to recover from.
Now, what do you think about this? I feel like in a workout like this, the same 40 guys that are going to qualify for semifinals, at least in the quarterfinal setting, like, I feel less strongly about punishing them with a death by or something similar format, because I'm working off the assumption that those 40 guys who you're worried about are all generally going to be in the same range, or at least enough of a same range to where that extra volume is not going to typically matter. That's how I feel about one of my workouts, because it's different than this, and there are movements that could definitely, if it's like, oh, if someone tried to game it and they didn't get as much work done as someone else, it would definitely take less of a toll. But if they gamed it, they have no chance of qualifying for semifinals.
The problem like the problem with this style of workout and gaming it at all is there's going to be so many small bottlenecks after you get
Yes.
past like 15 minutes that just getting one more calorie on the round of 45 or getting one more calorie on the round of 40, like it's going to be hundreds of spots within those small numbers as you go. You're going to have huge clumps and the clumps are going to be smaller, but as the clumps get smaller, those are just all the good people together clumped up. So
it's crazy because we both have a death by and they're so different. We both have an ascending rep scheme in a 3-minute window that is so different.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
JR,
All right. So
why
one more
did
thing I
you-
want to say about this is this is a whole nother show. I actually talked to Pat Vellner about this, and he was like, you could do a whole show on this. It's an interesting discussion. Me and Taylor have talked about it. At this point of the game, there are movements that we've always put in this gymnastics monostructural weightlifting bucket that I think need to be moved. A box jump over in this setting is, for the best, should be another monostructural movement.
Yeah.
I do not think of that as gymnastics at all. So this is to me an MM workout, and that's the perfect way to me in a 5 workout competition that you can test really raw base capacity. There are gonna be people that say, it favors the big guy because they're gonna be able to hammer the row and they're taller, so it's gonna make the box easier. Maybe. I think you'll see by the end of the competition that there are going to be some things that balance out with the smaller, lighter athlete. But I still think that having an MM when I had a WWW on workout 1 really kind of helps to balance things out.
Gosh, we have some crazy similarities.
All right,
This is
let's go.
sick.
Why did you choose to specify the step down, Ryan Jebney asked?
I really care about people's Achilles tendons, whether or not they're competing at a high level or not. And I think I think in a way it makes it harder.
It's top 25%.
I really liked that stimulus, especially in the 100s chipper at Crucible, watching people use the games box and having to step down versus bounding. I think it took away from people's ability to separate because of that.
Fuck no, dude.
No, I don't think that deep. No, but I am going to do it.
Okay, next.
All right. So this is my heavy test, right? 21.
This is crazy, dude.
21:15.9 snatches, 135, 185, 225, 255, and then 95, 135, 165, 175. So first I want to talk
snatch
about
is heavy for both of us. We both did snatch as a heavy test.
So I think a lot of times at semifinals they test the heavy weightlifting, and what I mean by that is not a powerlifting movement. But I think it would be good too to circle back around to where when we get to semifinals, we know they can all Olympic lift. Now, what the 90 reps do on the gymnastics, a couple things. They allow some of the people in the 24% to play, right? A lot of the people are going to be able to get through the 21 and the 42, and then maybe that round of 185, 135 is a PR snatch. Okay. You still got to participate. There's a tie break after each round of gymnastics. You can just treat that like Fran and just sprint the snatches and the pull-ups as fast as you can, wait around and rest for a little bit, see if you can hit that second snatch. The chest to bar, the bar muscle ups also accumulate a lot of pulling, so that when you get to the 255, 175, much like in 17.3 chest to bar snatch ladder, that bar just starts to feel heavier and heavier because you're doing so much pulling, you're doing so much hanging. I think that the loading is still appropriate without being too inaccessible. Like if that snatch was at 275 at the end, you could just look at the workout and say, the whole workout doesn't matter at all. It just matters who can hit the 275 without missing. And I didn't want that feel of just all these other reps don't matter. I think having it progress this way, you're going to see some guys take chances. You're going to see some guys push the pace because they know there are going to be people doing this workout. They get to the 255 and take like a 10 to 15 second break between reps. And I can't afford to just play it safe because you could redo this one, but this is one of the ones I don't think you want to redo. I think you want to do it and execute and move on from it.
Yeah, that I think creates a ton of upper body soreness in general. Maybe even some midline posterior soreness, but that's not a redo workout to me.
Yeah, so for those of you kind of following along, this is kind of how we think about things as we go, and it's definitely how I thought about it. The first workout had 30 pulling reps from the floor.
Hey, can we take a pause real quick? Go back to the first workout and read it out loud, then read the second and the
If you're still watching, it's just me on the screen right now. What I was going to say before Taylor so rudely interrupted me was there's 30 hinging reps in the first workout. There's 48 in this workout. So that's 78 barbell reps from the floor, all weightlifting, cleans and snatches. Could I program something else hinging from the floor on the last workout? I could, but I think that movement pattern has been done. There's also 120 light squats in the first workout. And then here, most people are going to be snatching the 9 and the 3, squat snatching. So you've got a heavier squat workout under fatigue, and then you've got a light squat workout with volume. So you've got the 78 hinging reps. You've got the 100+ squatting reps. So if you're thinking about maybe where the fifth workout is going, think about what's already been tested. We've already done a single leg test. We've already done weightlifting in 3 out of the 4 workouts. The workout that didn't have any was the box jump over row. All right. So reading these workouts out loud, starting with 1 for time, 120 wall balls, 20 and 14 to a 10-foot target, 60 dumbbell bench press, 70s and 50s, 30 cleans, 205, 145, and it's partition as desired with a 20-minute cap. Workout 2, 25-foot increments on the kettlebell lunges, 6 front rack kettlebell lunge trips, 53s and 35s, 50 GHD sit-ups, 4 rope climbs, 6 kettlebell front rack lunge trips, 50 GHDs, 4 legless rope climbs. There's a time cap after the first 4 rope climbs are completed. Workout 3, against a 3-minute clock. So every 3 minutes until you cannot complete the work in the 3-minute window, 20 box jump overs with a mandatory step down, 24-inch for male and female, 20 calories for the males, 15 calorie row for the females. Add 5 calories every 3 minutes. No time cap. Workout 4 for time, 21 snatches, 135-95, 42 pull-ups, chin over the bar, 15 snatches, 185-135, 30 chest to bar pull-ups, 9 snatches at 225, 165, 18 bar muscle ups, and then lastly 3 snatches at 255, 175. So the progression of loading on the males, 135, 85, 225, 255. For the females, 95, 135, 165, 175. There's a tie break time after each completed gymnastics movement. 18-minute time cap total. So that's 4 of the workouts. Last one coming. So we have another progression style workout, and I'm going to read it out loud, and then I'm going to talk about it.
Ooh.
So you have for time, 3 rounds, 50 double unders, 2 handstand walk trips. Like the lunges, 1 trip is 25 feet. There's a minimum of 5 feet segments. So those that are not able to handstand walk 25 feet unbroken can still get credited reps for doing the 5-foot tape line. After those 3 rounds, you're immediately going into 3 rounds of 50 unbroken double unders. So if you trip, your set's terminated and you restart at 0. And 1 unbroken handstand walk trip of 50 feet, 25 feet down, half pirouette, 25 feet back. So in total, 300 double unders, 300-foot handstand walk. The first 3 rounds, there is no requirement to do the double unders or the handstand walks in unbroken sets. 5 feet minimum for the handstand walk. And then in the next 3 rounds, the double unders have to be unbroken, and the 25 plus 25 handstand walk has to be unbroken. This is the sprint for the best of the best. This is how can I transition the cleanest? Is my handstand walk speed up to par?
Fast. Yeah.
And then I'm telling you, we've seen pirouettes now. It's something that a lot of people put in, but it's the full 360 pirouette. I think the natural progression at a quarterfinals level is to see this. We've only ever had to do 25 feet unbroken handstand walk. A 50-foot unbroken handstand walk, having to turn yourself around, is such an easy way to separate people that don't have what I think Boz would call a very low-level skill, but under a sprint pace, breathing very heavy, I think you will see some people trip up. And I mean, the fact of the matter is, whether you step on the tape line as you're turning, whether you just lose your balance, that's 10 seconds right there that you just lost. And then you're running back down, you're doing the whole thing again. So it's a very, like I would call it a very high execution, which is what we see usually once a year. But then also we're seeing a natural progression of a movement that a lot of us are already assuming is going to come. So had a workout that was WWW, had a workout that was monostructural, and now I have a workout that's monostructural gymnastics, which we tend to not see. I think it's only been done two times. I think it's burpee pull-up, shuttle run, and then wall walk double under is the only 2 times it's been done in online competition. So, this is something that I've kind of thought was going to be a trickle down. And once again, I think everyone can play for 3 rounds, and it is kind of a tighter time cap. I mean, I think the fastest are going to go sub 5 on this, but it is a time cap to where, hey, if you have time just to do the 50 unbroken, awesome. But a lot of people aren't going to be able to walk 25 at all, much less walk 25, turn around and come back without dropping. So that's it. That's
interesting. Someone I love it. Someone commented 100 hinges in workout 2, talking about the GHD sit up. And I think it's ridiculous to me. Like, maybe not ridiculous.
I should have said, hold on one second. Shooter, I should have just said that there are only 78 reps pulling from the floor.
Right.
I do think of the GHD, and it's probably just because I've been lucky enough not to ever have any lower back issues, or just feeling that sensation a lot of people feel about their lower back taking a beating from a lot of GHD sit-ups. I always feel it anterior. So yeah, I just think of that as a trunk flexion movement. I don't think of it at all as a dynamic hinge, but I definitely understand what you're saying.
And you don't experience back issues because you do GHDs correctly. So if you actually take your level 1, or you Google CrossFit GHD sit-up, you'll watch them walk you through the progression of a GHD. There's not supposed to be excessive hyperextension of the spine. There's not supposed to be excessive flexion at the top of the rep. But people with maybe not even shitty mobility, people who don't know how to do a proper setup and use the correct muscle groups, and people with bad mobility, a GHD is going to fuck you up. But it's like any person can have a personal bias. Oh, I have a bad shoulder, so when I look at a set of programming, I'm hyper focused on how many overhead pressing reps there are. Or, oh, I have a bad knee, so when I look at a set of programming, I'm hyper focused on how many squat repetitions or lunge repetitions. Or bad back, I'm looking at hinges. It frustrates me when people comment through that lens, because it's functional. So in some way, each exercise, if it's functional, you're using your entire body. You're hinging in some manner. You're pressing in some manner, active shoulder, whatever. And granted, there's a big difference between a handstand push-up and a deadlift, right? You're not using the same muscle groups as much. But your entire body is taking a beating in a workout, in a competition like this. Like, it could be aggressive one way or another, but looking at specific, there's only 100 hinging reps, there's only 70 squatting reps, like, fuck off with that. Sorry.
Yeah. So, well, no, I mean, dude, and I don't even think necessarily I think maybe he was just trying to say you forgot about the 100 hinging reps like that. That just may just be maybe used a poor choice of word, or maybe he thinks of GHDs as a lower body hinge, which is fine. I don't think of them that way. But when you do look at the programming as a whole, some things that I think other people will notice, we are bounding twice, right? So we're doing the box jump overs and the double unders. The volume in the box jump over for a lot of people is going to be high. The volume for the double unders here, especially at the high levels, very low. And a lot of people aren't even going to be able to do the second 150.
And the other thing
you have the one kind of volume squatting test. You have the one heavier squatting test. You have a single leg, pretty heavy test, 300 feet of lunging. You have some weighted upper body pressing. You have some gymnastics pressing overhead here, or whatever you want to call it, stability, whatever. Yeah, you have 2 couplets, you have 2 triplets. I would still consider the lunge a triplet workout, even though the 2 rope climbs are different. And then 1 quartet with the 3 different gymnastics movements and the squats. So that's going through them real quick. Workout 1, I think I said upper body pressing limiting. Workout 2, upper body pulling limiting. Workout 3, either just base capacity or leg stamina test. Workout 4, strength under fatigue test for this next group of people. Maybe it's just dynamic upper body pulling. And then for the last test, I would just call that, like high skill under fatigue. But when I say high skill, I just mean like skill adaptation. I just mean like execution of a skill under fatigue.
All right, you're going to have to bear with me and let me pee for 1 minute because you took up the whole show with your workouts. But give me one second.
Did you see my message?
No, what was your message?
Right here.
Private chat. Yeah.
Okay, dope.
So Will, when you see these workouts, as someone who's going to make quarterfinals at whatever level, if you saw these workouts, if you saw these workouts come out, is there a workout in there that you're like, I don't even want to do that workout, so I'm not going to sign up? Or when you see the workouts, what stands out to you? Like, does like the amount of pulling stand out? Does the amount of shoulders stand out? Like does the loading stand out? Does the skill stand out? Does the volume or a lack thereof of volume stand out? What kind of stands out to you when you see them through your level of fitness?
Nothing of like overloading or anything like that stands out to me. More so, like for me, I can at least start every workout, and it's mainly just like even the snatch, right? I'm going to get to 15 snatches at 185 and maybe pull it once, twice. And so I like them, and they're simple to figure out. And then for me, like I'm not good at handstand walking. Like maybe I can walk 5 feet segments. So that would be something that I'd be like, oh, I can practice. Is there a time frame now between open and quarterfinals too?
There's about a month. There's about a month now.
If these came out, then it's like that's something I could learn if I actually had the motivation to learn it. So I'd be excited to be like, oh, I could try to figure that out. So I like them from the lens of my fitness level, which is definitely like bordering the 25% probably in the open.
All right, Taylor, I'm gonna let you cook, and unless you forget to read it out loud, I'm not gonna say anything until you're done, and then I'm gonna
read them all out loud first. But yeah, I'm ready to rock. Ready to rock. Okay, workout 1. For time, 100 double unders, 42 dumbbell hang power cleans, 70s, 50s, 21 strict handstand push-ups, 100 double unders, then 30 dumbbell shoulder to overhead, 70s, 50s, 15 wall-facing handstand push-ups, 100 double unders, 18 dumbbell clean and jerks, 70s, 50s, 9 handstand walks, 100 double unders. I think this is one of 2 progressive. You could maybe call my death by progressive, but it's in a sense it is. This is one of 2 progressive workouts for me, and I wanted the biggest limiter to be your ability to do body weight pressing reps under a lot of fatigue, general shoulder fatigue. So thinking about the top 25%, everyone can start this workout. It's 100 double unders. It might take somebody a minute. It might take somebody 7 minutes. Then we have 42 dumbbell hang power cleans. I'm working under the assumption that all 25% of people could at least pick these heavy dumbbells up and do 3 dumbbell hang power cleans at a time. It's a pretty low barrier to entry pretty low barrier to entry movement, even at that more challenging weight. And then you get to the 21 strict handstand push-ups. And if you're at the bottom level of that top 25% and you've made a mistake and you've gone way too fast on the dubs and the hang power cleans, you're going to sit there and wait 5 minutes before you can even do 1 rep. But if you know you suck at this stuff, chances are you can pace the 142 and get 1 to 7 strict handstand push-ups maybe within that 18-minute time cap. And that's going to be the workout for some people. For the best in the world, I think this workout's like a 13-minute workout. I think it's you're doing your sets of double unders either in 2 sets or unbroken. The dumbbell hang power cleans, I think you're doing in 3 to 4 sets. Strict handstand push-ups are like 2 quick sets, maybe 3 quick sets. Again, on the second set of double unders, unbroken or 2 sets. The dumbbell shoulder to overhead, I think you're going in 3, maybe 4 sets. 15 wall facing. The best in the world are doing this in 2, 3 sets max. And then I think really the hardest part of the workout is the 18 dumbbell clean and jerks for the best. Going into those 9 handstand walks, can you do them fast? So it's a progressive workout and quite obviously a kick in the dick.
Yeah, I mean, I see this workout and, you know, I kind of have this like category of quarterfinals workouts in my head where it's like, can redo, should redo, do not want to redo. This is definitely in the do not want to redo. And it makes it really tricky because when you get, especially when you get to the 15, if you think you're ready and you're not, like that's 45 straight presses.
Yep.
Like that is going to be really difficult. And if people don't have a good game plan going into it, it's really going to show. It's what I really like about the workout. Some things I think about when I see just a workout as 1 of 5, I just take some notes. Like for me, there are 84 pressing reps in this workout. Okay, cool. I'm going to store that away and I'm going to see how many more pressing reps come up. I see the hang and not being from the floor. Only the 18 reps are from the floor. So I think to myself, could we be seeing deadlifts? Could we be seeing barbell snatches? Could we see cleans? Could we see sumo deadlift 5 pulls? That's just kind of how my head works. So I see workouts and then I start to think about, due to how you program this one, how did they play off the other ones? And then another thing that stands out to me is last year in quarterfinals, the first movement was 9 handstand walks. And you saw a lot of people just say, well, hey, I'm not doing it because I can't do those.
Right.
And I could have done the ring muscle ups in the middle, but I can't handstand walk or whatever. So I think it's cool that you put these right at the end. And I think it would be really interesting to see how long the last 100 double unders take some people.
Would obliterate.
So yeah.
This is also, it's an interesting point of, you know, what I talked about before we started my workouts is like, I have less of a tendency to be concerned with a lot of overhead pressing because I have really good shoulders, good shoulder mobility, good shoulder endurance, good shoulder stamina. Maybe one thing to note going into my set of tests, but I don't think it's too much. And here, especially, the more efficient you are with the dumbbells, if you have good efficiency, it's almost more of a support rather than a press. You're using the legs a lot and receiving the dumbbells in a lockout position. This is my second progressive workout. And it is a 3-minute AMRAP, starting with 6 kipping pull-ups, 6 thrusters, 105.75. And there's a 1-minute rest until the next AMRAP. And you only get to continue if you complete 5 or more rounds. So 3, 2, 1, go. 6 kipping pull-ups, 6 thrusters. If you complete 5 rounds, rest a minute, go to the next AMRAP. Next AMRAP, 9 toes to bar, 9 thrusters. You only get to continue if you complete 4 or more rounds. Rest a minute. Next 3-minute AMRAP. 12 chest to bar pull-ups, 12 thrusters. Same weight, 105.75. Continue to the next AMRAP if you complete 3 or more rounds. Rest 1 minute. 3-minute AMRAP, 15 bar muscle ups, 15 thrusters. Continue to the next AMRAP if you complete 2 or more rounds. And then the final AMRAP is 3 legless rope climbs, 18 thrusters. And your score is total rounds and reps of each AMRAP.
For that last AMRAP, how do you just keep going? Just 3 minutes? You just get as many as you can get.
Right. I think this is a workout where, again, anyone can start this workout. Most people can get into the second AMRAP. It's a lot harder. And the thing about the rounds coming down, like you look at a 3-minute AMRAP and you're like 12 chest bar, 12 thrusters. That's easy to get 3 rounds. But is it easy to get 3 rounds after 5 rounds in the first one and 4 rounds in the second one? Right. And then you look at this is where the biggest choking point is going to be in that 4th 3-minute AMRAP. You're like, damn, 15 bar muscle ups, 15 thrusters, 2 rounds in a 15-minute window. That's tight. That's hard for the best. Really hard after the first 3 AMRAPs for the best in the world. But more importantly, I think doable. And once you get to that 3rd AMRAP, it's the volume to me is not going to affect people. Versus like say top 40 going to semifinals. A lot of them are getting into that final interval. So the extra work I think is negligent. And those who aren't, I don't think you're worried about. And I don't think the extra volume is enough to warrant being concerned with. But my second progressive workout. So you have to be fit enough to test the skills.
All right, so something we kind of glossed over, but I want to make sure everyone at home knows. You cannot butterfly the first one. They have to be kipping, or is that just
Yep,
you
they
just
have to be kipping.
okay? So that's something new too. That's it's a skill that a lot of people have surmised. Like it's one of those, hey, single unders used to be important to you, and then you stop practicing them because you learn double unders. And you should always kind of go back to practicing basics of things, and like kipping, and like even something as like cycling a kipping pull up would be awkward if you're someone that never does it before. When I see the workout, I'm with you. I go right to the fourth interval, and I think, okay, this is where the contenders and pretenders are separated, because some people can get through the 15, but you're not going to have a whole lot of time left in the clock after the thrusters. And how many people can do 30 bar muscle ups in 3 minutes, right? That's a 10 minute EMOM for a lot of people isn't even doable.
Yep.
The only other question I have is this. Did you consider at all for the last one doing either a burpee bar muscle up or a 18 pullover or 18 pullovers, 18 thrusters? Did you always know it was going to be bar, rope?
Yeah, I was thinking bar, maybe ring.
Okay.
I didn't want ring muscle up, sandbar muscle thing workout, and I thought legless was the correct progression, because I think it's time that we bring a regular rope climb in some volume back to semifinals, and that's what I would like to see. The other note about this workout is I think maybe even harder than the first one to strategize, because your reps from each AMRAP count towards your total score. So it's not like I do 5 rounds and chill, because you might not get the chance to get more reps in the final AMRAP. And if you do, it's not going to be anywhere near as many reps as you could have banked in the first 4 AMRAPs. But then
That's
again,
cool.
if you go too hard, how are you going to advance? So
yeah, and like strategically, it gives people that know maybe they can't do a chest to bar. All right, I'm going to do the 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, 3 minutes on, and I'm just going to completely crush myself. Like I'm going to bank as many reps as I can just on those 2 AMRAPs, because I know I have nothing to lose after that. It's not like, oh, you get your rounds and you have to stop. It's like you can keep going as long as you want to. So I think it's cool in that way. There's some strategy involved.
And to be quite honest, 18, fuck that. Probably 24 of the 25% aren't even getting into the bar muscle up thruster portion of the workout. So it's what, 11 minutes and you're done. Not too much volume for people. Challenging.
Cool.
And here's
So
my heavy test. Every minute until failure, start with a 10-second L sit at a 14-inch target. And so easy way to standardize this. I view it as no more complicated than standardizing like a handstand push-up with a 10 or 30-inch tape line. You have standard size Olympic bumper plates that have the same diameter, and you stack them to 14 inches, and your feet have to stay over the profile of the bumper plates and off the bumper plates for 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. 10-second L sit. Can be broken. To be honest, this was the one workout where I'm like, man, would everyone be able to start this if I made it in a 10-second unbroken L sit? Would there be people who could, like,
right?
I feel like there are people who will qualify who couldn't do this. So 10-second L sit, 1 snatch, starting at 145 for guys, 95 for ladies. Every minute, adding 10 pounds until you fail to complete that snatch at the particular weight within the minute. And your tie break is upon failure. Rest until the top of the next minute. So say I get to 225 and I fail within that minute. And I can't remember. I don't know what minute that would be ticked over. But say I hit the 12-minute mark and I fail to hit 225. At the 13-minute mark, I start my tie break. And that's 1 max set of snatches at 105 and 75. So this is a workout where it's like, okay, guaranteed to be some big bottlenecks. 275, 285, 295 for guys. Just like a shitload of people tapping out there. I think 105 and 75 is the proper weight to where there's enough separation between those people who tied on the max lift. I'm thinking like 30 to 45 reps on that 105-75 bar. Maybe more.
I was thinking like you muscle snatch that fast for a minute straight. That's a lot of reps. Yeah. And really, dude, this is
but it's not a minute. I mean, it's not a minute. At the top of the next minute, it's 1 max unbroken set.
Max unbroken set. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like a 1 minute AMRAP. So this is like, gosh, this is one too that you look at, and you have to think am I going to rest a lot before the snatch, or am I going to go right to the snatch and actually get some rest before my next L sit? Like, how confident are you in the two movements? Like, do you game the minute, or do you do both movements kind of back to back until you get to a certain load, and then you're like, hey, once I hit a 225 snatch, I'm going to start resting 20 seconds before I pull the bar. And if I miss, then I'm starting to get antsy. And like, that's a thing too. Like, I mean, how many people have done L-sit into a heavy barbell? You had it into a moderately heavy barbell, I would call, in the Charlotte Classic, and you saw a lot of people thrive and you saw a lot of people fall apart, right? You could just tell that the L-sit in the beginning just really fatigued them for the rest of the workout.
And the harder part about this combination is just fatiguing your hip flexors so much, and the amount of hip extension and power you need in them to snatch heavy, and then to go into the unbroken snatches, just nasty.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really different style of strength test. I think it's one that maybe me and you even talked about would be cool at a semifinals level. Yep. as like a buy-in, instead of doing like a crossover double under buy-in or a legless rope climb buy-in before a heavy lift, like doing something isometric. Like, would that ever kind of be thrown in?
I had Michelle do this for games training at one point over the summer.
What did she hit?
185. You're about to pull up 5. There you go. All right, we're at 4. This is my kind of grunt work capacity.
Yes, it is.
Just nasty. Gosh, I love it. This is I don't know. This one and the final might be my 2 favorite. But this is for time. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 dumbbell burpee box step overs, 70s and 50s. A 21 for men, 15 for women calorie row after each set. So 2, 21, 4, 21, 6, 21, 8, 21, 10, 21 time cap. I think anyone can start this workout. It's just a very low barrier to entry skill wise movement, but to do them fast and to do them efficiently, you've got to be strong. And 30 total reps. Granted, the reps take a lot of time each, but I think double dumbbell, perfect. Just a nasty raw capacity test.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many levels to this workout. You have a lot of people who are like, hey, I just want to be able to do one of these step overs with the 70s. And then if I can get another one, I'm gold for at least 21 more reps. And then can I get back? Can I get 4? And then can I get back? Can I get 6? Like the volume with the dumbbell is really friendly, but also very challenging with the loading. When you look at this from the lens of like a competitor, I mean, you have to want to hurt on the rower. You have to, like it really kind of becomes hey, the 8 and the 10 are going to be more about keeping moving, but like on the 21 before the 10 and the 21 after the 10, how hard am I going to be able to row at the end?
Yeah. And the thing that I think is massively important in a quarterfinal setting, taking people to semifinals, the skills are really important. The strength is really important, but you want the fittest people at quarterfinals, like raw fitness, the people who are going to go there, put on a show and fight for a spot at the games. You're not going to be one of those 40 people with this workout. So to me, that's just a really important aspect. Yes, the strength is important. Yes, the skill is important. But can you do those things under fatigue? Can you do those things, have a high motor, a high desire to suffer, high psychological tolerance? That's important to me.
Yeah, and something I just want to say about your programming, your creativity is there are some things that we've never seen in competition before that we at least haven't seen in composition presented in a certain way. We're through 4 workouts right now. You have a mandatory kipping pull-up program that's never been done. You have a L-sit in a setting other than like a skills hold it as long as you can setting. And then you have a burpee step over, which I haven't seen programmed in CrossFit Games competition, only step overs or like whatever kind of burpee variation. So three movements that kind of show like, yeah, your creativity, which I think is cool.
Philip, it's 2 step overs total. So it's 30 total step overs. 15 each leg if you alternate. Last workout. For time, 50 GHD sit-ups, 35 back squats from the floor, 225, 155, 20 shuttle runs.
Go.
It's just it's to a degree, it's a lot of power output, a ton of legs, like going for, not only a ton of legs, but a ton of midline going from the GHD to the 35 back squats from the floor. The best in the world, I think, are doing the back squats. Man, I think there are people out there who can do the back squats unbroken and the GHDs unbroken. I definitely know most of the people qualifying for semifinals are doing the back squats in 2 sets, like maybe a set of 20, drop it, set of 15, and then hurt like fuck on the shuttle runs. But yeah, it's like that moderate time domain sprint. Like I think the fastest people in the world are 6 minutes.
Yeah, you posted this teaser and I just commented pain. Like that's what I think it's going to be. And
Yes.
like what I think is really cool and what something people can think about is like, especially after the first couple of years of quarterfinals, I think you had 180 GHDs maybe, and the next year had like 90, and then like I have 100 in my workout. Like they can be put in a workout like this, like Taylor has at 50, and still get an unbelievable effect and stimulus, because going from a GHD to anything with load, squatting especially, I would say even squatting more than hinging, like is going to elicit a response on the quads and hip flexors going into the run. Like it's a very cool and very thoughtful and very clever way to keep volume low as far as number of repetitions go, but keep the challenge of the movement and the interference really high. So like that's what I saw immediately was like, oh, that's going to make that harder. That's going to make that harder. Who's going to want to run hard after those 85 reps? Not a lot of people.
Yeah, and if you're top 25% and making it to quarterfinals and you can't clean 225 and 155, I'm sorry, but you have no business advancing to that portion of the workout. Chances are, if you can't clean 225 or 155 and then get it to the back rack, the GHGs are probably taking you 4 minutes.
For the 50 feet, is it 25-25 is 1?
Yeah, 25-25 is 1.
Cool.
So at worst, 6 a minute. At best, I think 9 a minute. Moving. Thoughts? Fastest time? I think of someone like Matt or Justin, who's a fucking animal at squatting and GHDs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, I feel like sub 6 is possible.
Right.
But the combo is just so deadly.
Yeah, I think like if you're going, let's just say 6 seconds a shuttle, which is like under fatigue, a pretty fast pace, there's your 2 minutes.
Yep.
So if you're sprinting, maybe a little faster, but all right, there's your 2 minutes. Like you said, the GHD, I mean, most people are, even if they're cruising, are holding 30 a minute. And what's tricky is on the back squats. Like if you're one of those people that can keep the same cadence with a 1/1000 at the top for 35, or if you're someone that knows after 20, you're going to start taking 3 seconds at the top, do you just do 15, drop it, 10, drop it, and you keep the squatting fast? Or when you do break, is it one of those things like, nah, man, when you drop that bar, you ain't picking it back up for another like 20 seconds because you know you got to clean and jerk it to the back rack? Like, do you just suffer through the 35? Or like, so that kind of movement, because it's not tested a lot in a Metcon, a back squat, especially a back squat at this load, it would be really cool to see how many guys that are really strong struggle with holding a big chunk on that.
Yeah.
Can you go through all 5 of yours and say what you think like the primary limiter was supposed to be?
Okay. So we've got monostructural weightlifting, gymnastics, all 3 in kind of a progressive manner. Limiter for sure is shoulders, shoulder stamina, shoulder strength. You're going from hanging to strict overhead pressing. Double unders are compounding on your shoulders. 30 dumbbell shoulder to overhead at a heavy weight. And if you don't have good shoulder positions, the dumbbells are just destroying you. I think in a sense, for some people, the dumbbells can be easier if you have great shoulder positioning. For others, it just buries you in a hole. So without a doubt, shoulder stamina, shoulder endurance, are you good at the skills while your shoulders are very tired and fatigued? Also a bit of a longer workout. Workout 2, definitely squat endurance, squat stamina, and a pulling focus with skill. And the only people that are getting to a level where the volume is going to be like, how good are you at squatting high reps, are the fittest in the world, which I think is appropriate with the last workout and the burpee step overs. Squat pull, classic Fran stimulus, and light barbell. So we have workout 1 is like moderate, kind of heavy. Mute yourself. Workout one is like pretty moderate heavy. For a lot of people, that's heavy. This workout, it's light, but at a weight that's like, I don't really do that weight ever. So it changes things a little bit. Workout 3 is heavy and low volume until you get to the tie break. And the tie break really matters because there are going to be a lot of bottleneck reps, and it's a light set of snatches for moderate volume. But the stimulus is just quite challenging. And the limiter here, without a doubt, is going to be snatch strength, but also trunk flexion strength, hip flexors more than anything. You have strong hips and good static positions. This workout, the limiter, without a doubt, is just like strength and metabolic conditioning, like that raw, like 8 to 12 minute, really hurt bad time domain. This fits the bill. And if you're weak, it's not going to go well. If you're not athletic, you're not efficient with the dumbbells, it's not going to go well. And then the final workout is, I would say more than anything, leg and kind of sprint type capacity. So
we really did not know each other's workouts. Like, anyone who thought that maybe we did show each other, that the surprise on our face, like whether you thought it was candid or not, like Will knew the workouts. He did not tell either of us what we had. And I just thought it was really cool that there were some things I thought going into it. I said to myself, this is what I'm going to see. I'm going to see step overs from Taylor of some kind. And I saw that, which was cool. I'm going to see a kipping pull-up. Those are the only two things I was confident to say, like, I think he's going to program. Was there anything like that you thought, like, oh, well, he always does this, so he's going to do this?
No, I had no idea what to expect from you. I mean, there are things that you like typically do, but I honestly, I didn't try to think too hard about it. I didn't try to sit there and guess about what you were going to do. I just loved all of them. Great. I think the 3-minute interval workout that you had and the 3-minute advance that I had, we both had a death by. We both had sets of 50 GHDs. I think now that when I saw that you had a set of 50 GHDs, I was like, I could have guessed that. Like, we both like GHD sit-ups and think they're important to test, but in like a pretty challenging dose. Like, a set of 50 makes them important. Yeah.
I thought it was really cool that you talked about thinking ahead, that, hey, we've been doing legless at semis for so long, and like even this past year we did seated legless, that you kind of thought, you know what, it's time for like a Tommy V type rope climb volume that's regular rope climbs. So you decided to put legless in quarters. I thought that was really cool. And we both put legless in quarters, which is another thing that was similar, that I think a lot of people would just say, oh no, that's hands off. But like, to me, if you're doing seated legless at semis, like, it's okay to put them in quarters to me.
Regular legless. Yeah. Pull, I think pull my work. So, I think the other thing to note is like that these are for masters too. And I think the first workout's a good example. Pull workout 1 for me. Most masters, at least 40 plus, are not finishing this workout. That's fine. They're still going to test the exact same thing all the way through the workout with the progression and stack themselves up against their relative field of people and say, okay, the person who gets this deep into the handstand walks is clearly the best 40 to 44 athlete. The person who gets 5 of the dumbbell clean and jerks is clearly the best 50 to 54 athlete. the thing that you have to take into account is it also has to be the right programming to take the top 40 individuals to semifinals. So here more than anywhere, but also this is standard or true to Roots CrossFit methodology, is you program for the best and scale for the rest. And in this sense, you're not scaling. The intensity is just going to look a little bit different. The depth or how deep an athlete gets into the workout is just going to look a little bit different. But everyone in the age groups can start this workout. If that means 50 to 54 only get into the second set of 100 double unders, well, the person who gets the furthest is going to be the best 50 to 54-year-old in this workout, and that's fine. Same thing for workout 2. Same thing for the snatch workout. All of those athletes can snatch 145 and 95 pounds.
So we have an extra day to complete the workouts this year. When you wrote the workouts, were you thinking about like, hey, is this redoable? Or were you just like, nah, they're not going to want to redo this one?
I don't think any of mine they would want to redo. I think maybe if there were one that you would think about redoing, maybe the snatch and maybe the dumbbell burpee step over. The other 3 are like, I don't like writing workouts that people are like, oh, I could redo that. Nah, fuck that. One and done. And I want them to feel like one and done.
So that's really what I was getting to. Like, I think a lot of people are in the camp of like, what I don't like about online is that it's not like a competition. You don't get do-overs. If you mess up, you mess up. You only get one shot. So I was curious if when you're programming them, you were like, I'm going to program these so that they're all I don't want to. I got one chance to hit it, and I need the full 24 hours to recover before I do another one.
Yeah. Like, I really loved the burpee box jump over snatch quarterfinal workout from 2021. But what I hated about it was that so many people redid it. And the sprint workout that I made for the finale, you can redo that, but you're not getting a better score. There's no fucking shot, I don't think, unless you completely sandbag it on the first attempt. But if you go for it on the first attempt, it's going to leave a mark. And it should.
Yeah, I mean, you, by very like, I would say intentfully, you didn't just throw a ton of volume in. The thrusters is a lot of repetitions, but otherwise the leg stuff is pretty low, but they're super demanding and taxing. Like you're saying, those 35 reps, like you only have so much juice. And if you think you're not going to need like 2-3 days in between doing the first and second attempt of that, you're wrong, especially with the other workouts you have programmed.
Go back to yours. Jeremy thinks that a lot of my workouts you would have to adjust for masters. Agree, disagree?
That's like something I was thinking about. I think about someone like Bill, and I know Bill is like a unicorn, but he's still like in that age range of he's in the last age group that are going to do these workouts as prescribed. And I'm going through them, seeing all of them being like, yeah, Bill can do those. Not only do them, but like do well at them. But what I thought was really interesting was that we both decided to use 70s and 50s all the way through 54. And I think for me, at least, a lot of that is because I think that the 55 pluses can use 50s and 35s. Like, I think that they can all do dumbbell movements with that load. So I think what's been a big point of contention in a lot of the programming community is, hey, like there's this huge wall where like everyone does the same workouts until 54. And then the workouts after that are just like, oh, we're not capable of a whole lot anymore. And I think that from a skill and from a loading standpoint, I asked around yesterday. I texted a couple masters and said, hey, like, is a 205 clean much harder for you than a 70-pound bench press? Like, because I was curious. And they were like, no, like, I don't think so. I think they're equally as challenging. And I think people all the way up through 50 years old can do this, all the way up to 54.
But even then, worst case, on 5 of these 10 workouts, you adjust the weight for a particular age group. And I don't think I mean, if you adjust the weights for the age groups all the way through, the stimulus are exactly the same for the individuals. To me, as someone who's programming, that's the ideal scenario. It's not ideal to take these 5 workouts and say you all have to do them. I think they all could be done. But I think what CrossFit would be much better off doing is saying these are all 5 workouts, and there are these subtle differences for this set of age groups and these set of people, like there is in the open and quarterfinals. Or, I don't know. Thoughts?
So typically the last TEEN division, the individuals, and then 35 to 54 do the exact same workouts. And we know that the age groups and individuals are doing the same quarterfinals workouts this year. Do you think they should go like every 10 years and modify stuff? Or do you think
100%.
you think it's like 35 to 44 and then at
Well,
45 it should switch and get a little bit lighter or less volume or whatever?
Did they do the same workouts in quarterfinals as well? Was it open and quarterfinals last year?
Well, last year age group had their own programming.
Right, which I think is
this year they're doing the same. They're doing
the
same as
open.
individuals.
The open I think is broad enough and inclusive enough and general enough that that's okay to do in the open. Is same workout for 16 to 17 all the way through 54. In quarterfinals, I don't. With increasing it to 25% of people saying they're all doing the same workouts, I think it only makes sense to write workouts like these and say, okay, well, 45 to 54 are going to use 50s and 35s for these workouts, or they're going to start the snatch ladder at a lower weight, or the thruster is going to be, 75, 55, whatever. I don't necessarily think that it's best to give them all what we wrote. I don't know enough about masters to confidently comment on that, but I think it would be so easy for them to just say, this is a weight adjustment for this age bracket. Everything else is the same.
Yeah, Jeremy's last comment right there is pretty cool, that he spoke to some of the athletes and kind of gave their feedback. So to your point of like, are the 70s and 50s too aggressive if they're going all the way up to 54 and stuff like that? This is cool to have up there. Haven't been doing the Legends programming and interacting with some of the older age groups. They actually complain more about overscaling than workouts being too heavy or too much volume. So yeah, I mean, that's one person's interaction, but you hear that a lot from the community. Like, hey, we can still do hard stuff. We can still move weight. Let us show that we can, or let us show you that we can't.
Yeah.
Sweet. Anything else?
Will, who did you like better? Just comment objectively, dude. I can take it. Like water off a cat's back.
I don't like water off a cotton ball. Isn't that what you said?
Like water off a cotton ball.
That's what you said.
Someone else said like water on a feral cat's back. That was funny.
We can no, we definitely on the Shut Up and Scribble Instagram, we're gonna try to start posting some more stuff. We should definitely get all 5 posted. Maybe if you're feeling really confident after you get some good feedback, Taylor, we can put a poll up there. Which ones do you want to do? Which ones do you think are better tests? All that kind of stuff.
You don't want to do mine. It's all good.
Sweet. I think we're all good. Thanks everyone for watching. Fun show. If you have show ideas too, you can send those to the Shut Up and Scribble Instagram account. Thanks, Kiefer.
Sorry about the background noise, guys.
It's all good.
It's all good, bro.
All right. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week, hopefully.